Let's see, so we searched for cellar, search for attic. She did mention an attic. Oh, all right. My dashboard has exploded with new videos.
Yes. I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and Simon. Felt like going back to old ways before the pregnancy. Reminded me of being a girl, the dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there.
All right, that's not much.
Yes. I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and make up our own stories.
Okay.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
Okay, definitely gonna search for Rapunzel after this. I may have been too quick in discounting the role of princesses in this story.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. It was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place. I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, and gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
I see. Well, yeah, I can definitely attest that small bugs can make a lot of noise when they're like, crashing into stuff. Yeah, that seems to be a lot of significance attached to the dollhouse. The whole thing about like creating characters, like making up tons of details about their lives. I guess that kind of points back to them, like Hannah and Eve, being physically the same person, just making up stories about different identities. Maybe. Okay, that's a little something new. Looks like it takes place after the previous one, so let's see what happened to that moth. Did it give it a proper burial? I'm guessing yes.
The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper, curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Okay, so that's 5 videos, so that's all we get about the dollhouse. Let's see, can I filter attic videos at all? Okay, ooh, that's something.
It lasted about 6 months. I tried to carry on, but everything was different. Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. We didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed. Me living in the attic had become weird. in a way it hadn't been before.
Okay, so yeah, sharing men. That's yeah, like under the pretense of being a single person. That's yeah, that's not cool. Like legally. But whatever. Let's find out more about the. Hey, here we go. This should be juicy.
Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private?
Oh, sorry.
Are you married? How is your sex life?
Well, no, and it's perfect. No complaints.
So, our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage. No, you're talking to the wrong person if you think I'm some kind of slut. If you think I'm the kind of person that would have had sex with all those guys.
Okay, so... Alright, so we know that Eve had sex with a lot of guys trying to get pregnant. So, yeah, again, this points back to maybe her being the same person, or maybe just some confusion existing about who's who.
No, I was 15, Carl was older, 17 I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. It's stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family.
So he got tired of us, as in both of you. So did he know he was getting tired of 2 people, or... Now let's see, they may have nothing more to say about Carl. Oh, wow. Okay, exactly 5 entries. We will get the whole story on Carl here.
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15.
So, okay, in the next video she starts out by saying...
No, I was 15. Carl was older. 17, I think.
Okay, so yeah, she says we were 15, as in, you know, Hannah and Eve both. And the detective takes it to mean that both she and Carl were 15.
Family. So, Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon.
Okay.
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
Okay, well... Couldn't let him see that she was a virgin. Why not, though? I mean, clearly he wasn't put off by it if he took Eve's virginity, and... Yeah, I don't... Oh, right, because he didn't know they were two different people. Right, I was a million miles away on that one. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date, we went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Oh. Okay. So, all right, now I think I understand perfectly. So they got out. So Hannah got out a Ouija board, and she messed with the occult, and like always happens when you mess with the occult, she got possessed by a spirit named Eve, and because Eve was living in her body long enough, she just came to associate herself with. I mean, it all makes perfect sense. Okay, let's. Oh man, Ouija, is that? Okay, that's one.
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
Okay. Let's see, is there anything else from Grace Kelly? No, okay. Dreams? No, okay. How about the whole twin thing? What does she have to say about twin or twins?
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
I can't. Never in my life have I been so. To be asked a question like that. But to answer your question, yes.
Are you out of your mind? Twins?
And apparently they let the matter drop? I don't know.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Okay, so what would have been unhappy about having twins? Let's see. Oh, exactly 5 entries. How neat. Neat and tidy.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help.
I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead, but I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Okay, so that, I mean, I guess maybe that police siren thing came up because we are speaking of a crime that was committed, you know, the kidnapping a child. I suppose that counts as kidnapping. Falsifying the death of a child, whatever. So, yeah, that's messed up. And okay, that would be why it didn't seem like a happy occasion, because she thought one of her children had died. So, yeah, Florence took away the evidence, and yeah, that all makes sense.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
Nope. There's that reflection. Someone said the magic word. Ooh, 1 minute, 24 seconds. How exorbitant.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. When you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Well, I'm still opposed to discount bus fares for war widows. So, but we have a title drop there. How about that? Her story was in the diary. So maybe next I can just search for the phrase her story.
No. It was just me and her. It was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
So, yeah, that does point to them being two different people, certainly. But they were talking about coming up with elaborate backstories for the people in the dollhouse. And so maybe all that was just something they came up with. An explanation for why they felt as though they were two people. Her story. Let's see it. Yeah, her story. That's something.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
Well, yeah, there we have it. I think that's it's a pretty powerful piece to end the video on. Well, all we had to do was search for her story this entire time, and we find out exactly how the murder was committed. Seems obvious in retrospect. So, yeah, I guess until next time, I'm Casino Heist, and thanks for watching.